Hey, how are you today? In this video, I just wanted to go over how to set up your CAPTCHA options to take advantage of our CAPTCHA system. And I know that we've been getting a lot of support issues over it and people asking how come I'm not getting auto CAPTCHA solving. And I'm going to do that all in this video. I know it's kind of a little bit off course. I wanted to show you guys how to use the footprints with the lists in GSA and the footprint editor, but I think that we need to cover this topic here, and during the week or by the latest next weekend I will send out another video about doing the CAPTCHA or the site lists and footprints with Hrefer and GSA. So first off, I'm going to start out with the GSA CAPTCHAs. The first one you want to do is GSA CAPTCHA breaker, and when you get your desktop, I'm sure most of you guys know this already, but there's a README file on your desktop, and it's a good thing for you to read through that whole thing, that whole file. That way you can see exactly how we want you to set things up to get the best results. You don't want to run the web server in CAPTCHA breaker. We have it running on the admin of each of the RDP servers, and that is so that we can split up where the CAPTCHAs all go, and we have a script that divides them up. One sends to Mega OCR, and then whatever doesn't get solved at Mega OCR gets sent. So it's kind of like a three-piece system, and it really does a good job. So CAPTCHA breaker, you can either do Mega OCR or Spam Villa for your second, and then for the very last one, just put your paid service. You have to put your own paid service at the end. It is a good idea to have it there just for the ones that do sneak through, and of course there is always going to be some really hard ones. The Hotmail ones, you're not going to see a lot of those at all, if any, come through your GSA search engine ranker, but the Hotmail CAPTCHAs, for example, are some of the hardest CAPTCHAs to solve for soft and down here. So if you want to use that, that's up to you. So just follow this how I have this here. CAPTCHA breaker first, Spam Villa, Mega OCR, and keep your retries at 3. I've been kind of experimenting by putting 3 2 2 2 and then 4 1 1 2 just to even the loadout over them all, but setting that at 3 for each one of them is perfectly fine. If you set that and just leave that at 0, you're just going to see a very bad success rate, so at least have it at 3 there. So let's go up to one of the other major tools, Ultimate Daemon. Now this is another tool that we can be using for our site lists as well. When we take our base lists from GSA Search Engine Ranker, and if you guys want to get started on that, break out this PDF. It's on every one of your guys' desktops. It's called Find Almost Unlimited New Link Targets, and I put it on everybody's desktop so they can read through it. It's a very, very good ebook. One of the best that I've seen for explaining link lists and using footprints. So if you got the time, go through that. You can build some massive lists. I do have a big list that somebody donated about 1 or 2 weeks ago, so I'm going to put that on each of the desktops for you as well in the next day, and you guys can build your base list and get some footprints out of that. So take a look at that PDF, and I'll show you right now, in case you didn't see in the first video. Come up here and check off all of these right here. It's in the advanced options, and every time that you make a project, GSA is going to save all of these lists and start building your list for you. And these are the base lists that we're going to use later on to find even more lists and build our list bigger. And I'll get more into that in the next video. That's very important to have these. So if you want to start building your list big right now, that'll be good for next week when we do the video on it. And go through that PDF. It's very important. I also, what I did was I put Hrefer in all the packages. So if you don't see Hrefer on your desktop or in your software folder, get a hold of us, either my support or open a ticket or the chat box, and we'll make sure that Hrefer is on your desktop, as that is one of the best tools for scraping, and it makes it very easy. And we're going to get into all these options here and setting filters, loading your footprints and your keywords, and making a template. It's all explained in this PDF here. So back to the CAPTCHAs. When you're in Ultimate Daemon, click on Visual Aid, come down here to Bypass CAPTCHA, and then just put anything in there. You want to make sure that your balance is a positive number. See how we got a positive number? Come down here to CAPTCHA Sniper, make that our second one. See how we got a positive number? So that's 2 entries that we have that are getting auto-solved. So then for your third one, I have found that having a third option as a paid service in Ultimate Daemon is definitely going to help, but you can just use these 2, and using proxies is going to get your success higher. And that's something that I really wanted to point out in this video, is using proxies is going to make the CAPTCHA solving rate much higher, at least 20 or 30%. So it is very important that you use proxies when we're using the CAPTCHA system. So let's test our CAPTCHA system with Sanook. It's probably one of the best tools to see the results of the CAPTCHA system. So one thing that I would do with the proxies here is I would filter out by speed. They're always going to be pretty good. There'll be a few that aren't going to pass, so let's get rid of those. So let's filter by speed and get rid of all the slow ones and the medium ones. So we're only left with fast proxies and high quality anonymous ones. Let's save those to Scrapebox. We got 55. We're going to post them, put them in whatever software we're using, and for this example I'm going to put them into Sanook so that we can see the CAPTCHA system. So we'll put them in here, paste them in. You don't need to put a username or password because I already have the proxy authenticated against the IP of the server. Make sure these are on CAPTCHA Sniper. When we're using proxies, sometimes if you have it on deCAPTCHA, it will bypass our CAPTCHA system. So if we're using proxies, keep it on CAPTCHA Sniper and put the retries up to 7 or 8 on each one, and re-enable proxy again. And that only happens when Sanook takes out a proxy that isn't working, but since we've checked them all and over a couple times and filtered out all the bad ones, I'm just going to leave this unchecked. Click Save. Having fast proxies is the key. So let's go down here. I already made a test one. So we're going to come down here, generate random profile. We're going to name it, make an email, and now we're going to pick select all sites and hit go. So I'm just going to show you guys the CAPTCHA system here. There should be no reason that you are using a backup one unless you have it in GSA, but I mean, if you're going to get a 80% success rate with your CAPTCHA solving, to me that's good enough. With the amount of SEO that I do, and I'm sure some of you do for your clients, CAPTCHA costs can add up to pretty high amount. what's the sense in paying $200-300 a month or more for your captchas if you can get an 80% success rate just using this method here? And if you're getting a lower submission rate, do another campaign to make up for the difference. One thing I wanted to point out also is in the README file, there is a footprint editor that you can install on your home computer. It requires admin rights, so you won't be able to install it on your desktop, but it'll work fine on your home computer, and you can do all of your footprints and save all your footprints there if you like. We do have Footprint Factory on most of the servers, but some of the servers in one of our data centers were having issues with it licensing, and we tried troubleshooting it for a couple months and we just gave up on it. So after dealing with the owner there for back and forth for a while, I don't think that he really wanted to help us out anymore, so I just put this in here for those of you that don't have Footprint Factory on your desktop. It's a very good one to use, and it does just as good a job. It's free. Also, read through this whole README file here when you get your desktop, for those of you that are watching this and don't have one. We have updates that we update certain things, and this README file will help a lot of questions that you may have. So since I got the retries set pretty high, it's going to take a little while to go through it here. Just going to pause it and be right back when it's further down. Okay, so I'm just checking in here, show you guys how good this is going. If you can get as good of a success rate as this, then what's the point in having a backup service? So as you can see, it has a lot to do with the quality of your proxies, eliminating all of the slow and the medium proxies, and just using the fast ones. We use by proxy and put them all on all the desktops, but if you're not getting as good of a success rate as this, then the best thing to do is to get your own subscription. I know that it is very good to use our proxies and it's cheap, but if you're serious about getting a high success rate, then our proxies aren't always going to be perfect. Every batch is different, and since they're semi-shared and shared one subscription per server, there are other users using them. This happened to be a good batch by the looks of it. It's a pretty good success rate. It's above 80%. But if you're not getting that, then you can go and spend the $30 and get your own set for the month and get a pretty decent success rate. And these are very hard ones. These are all reCAPTCHA, Web 2.0. Very, very hard to solve. So our CAPTCHA system will solve pretty much all of them. The harder ones obviously are going to be a lower success rate, but you don't even need to use a backup service. You just use our system for Snook, and that's all you need. So that pretty much shows everything I wanted to go over in this video. Next week we'll go over, like I said, the footprints, and if I have time I'll get into Rank Tracker, but more than likely Rank Tracker and advanced keyword research is going to be on the next one. But every week I'm going to put out a video from now on to address a lot of these questions that we're getting in the ticket system, and I think that it's really going to help by putting out a video every week. Alright, you know where to find us. Our chat box is running 24/7. Thanks.